Onstage, onstage chillta. Onstage, onstage chillta. Onstage, onstage chillta. Onstage, onstage chillta.
Owl Paws is a folk rock band from San Francisco. They've been a long-time Bay Area presence and last summer released Reservoir, their first full-length record. They've played everywhere from major venues to living rooms to dark caves over the last 5 years, and tonight we are very excited to welcome them to the Phoenix Theater for this show. Please welcome to the program our new friends, Owl Paws.
Owl Paws. Welcome to the Phoenix.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I believe the last time you guys played here was 3 or 4 years ago in 2012.
Yep.
So we're very happy
been
to
a
have you
while.
back.
Too long.
We're
Welcome
very,
back.
very, very happy to have you playing in the basement for a very special performance tonight. Tom,
Well, we had to pump the basement out to make that happen.
it does flood down there, but fortunately there was only a small amount of mold.
Not too
Only
bad.
one of us will probably get, what is it, black lung? Is that a
I
medical
don't know.
condition?
And the other thing you want to
Already
keep in
got
mind is that occasionally the ghost down there might take a fancy to one of you and follow you home. That's all right. He'll only stay for a night and then he'll come back here.
We got enough crystals.
Wayne.
Yeah, we already got enough crystals to cover it.
He's coming for Wayne.
We know how to handle that.
There is
We've got
much
our-
to talk about in that line.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because do you mind if I jump right into an observation you made to me earlier?
Yeah, sure.
You have a video that involves a Ouija board.
Oh, God.
That was, yeah.
And I just want to let you know.
Yeah, but that stuff makes me nervous.
This is a very funny thing. I want to share it, like a little thing about the dynamic in the Phoenix
Good.
and the whole
Okay.
thing. I got a call from Tom earlier today, and he was like, yeah, he was very respectful, but he was like, you need to tell the band tonight. I watched their video, and there's a Ouija board in one of them, and you need to tell them, no Ouija boards in the Phoenix. We don't fuck around with that here because there, in his belief, in his opinion, there's a presence down there.
You know, it's more than that. It's actually the whole iconography thing. There are so many realisms about the symbols and the instruments that we use. If you read much about Western history and even Eastern history, iconography and the like have what brought forth an energy that actually we've moved on in many ways. It's kind of helped to move our culture along. That's true. And you can read, Carl Jung, I think, to get that part. But at the same time, it's also been a part of some of our darker parts in history. And so, yeah, I see stuff like that, and it always makes me nervous, especially in a building like this where there may or may not be extra energies around. I was joking about the ghost downstairs. but
We're pretty sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that
far
Ouija board was only allowed in the house for probably about 6 hours. Then I threw it away, but I heard that you should never throw away a Ouija board.
Yeah, right.
It's the worst.
Well, like-
I was very angry that he had brought it
Kevin-
into our house.
Kevin really got upset.
And once I saw it there, it was just like my first intention to just get it as quickly out of the house as possible. So like he just put it in our trash can, and I don't know where it went.
It's like Jumanji. Someone else will
Probably
hear
under
it.
his bed.
But then at the same time, though, I mean, it's in a tune. You use it in a tune that's got some of my favorite lyrics.
Thank you.
Is it Sunrise? Is Sunrise the name of the tune?
No, it's Bring Me Back.
Bring Me Back. That's correct. So is Bring Me Back the one that has the line, the sun won't rise and the body can't die again?
No, that's Sunrise.
Is that Sunrise?
Yeah, that is Sunrise.
Damn, I love that tune.
Thank you.
And I love those lyrics an awful lot. That really goes back to man in his early stages of
Totally.
observing and feeling nature and the world turn. And what a beautiful thing that is.
Thank
You
you.
guys, I don't know if you mean to or if you understand how pagan you are in some of the ways that you write music.
I feel that.
You do?
I feel that.
And for anybody listening out there, pagan is not a bad word. Pagan is one of the oldest religions and probably predates Christianity and all of them. All of the, I think it predates Abraham, which means it predates most of our modern religions in the Western side.
Definitely.
And it's a beautiful earth religion. And you guys in your videos and in a lot of your songs, the imagery is all there. You're in forests, you talk about forests, you show water, you show forests, you show dark nights and caves, and wow, it's very earthy, it's very cool. I like it a lot.
Even I've never actually thought of it like that. Like there's a subtle pagan undertone to a lot of that. But yeah, it's all about like there's like a lot of these like beautiful like locations that you can go to, but also like if you flip that, like when it turns dark, it can be like really scary. And I think it's kind of going in between those kind of things.
Back to the occult or the Ouija boards or whatever you want to call it.
We're also a part of a cult. We're part of a small cult called Sunroom Records and Salon. It's a record label / art cult.
Fashion gang.
/ fashion gang.
What is the most, if you can share it, most secretive, most interesting part about your cult? Like, what's the worst behavior you participate in?
I think the most secretive, in my opinion, I definitely want to hear your follow up on this. I think the most secretive, most cult-like thing that really gathers us all together and makes us like paint the blood on our forehead is,
so to speak,
figuratively speaking, is that we have a tendency to just kind of like let go of all of anything that would stop us from being pure and completely who we want to be.
Inhibitions.
Exactly, yeah. And for all of us, we're all musicians. It helps us being together to kind of drop those walls and just press record and never look back.
This is you're not joking though when you say you have like a group, you call it a cult. Is calling it a cult sort of like tongue in cheek? Or would you say, no, this is a cult?
I mean, how far do you, what makes a cult?
As someone who's like kind of like the outlier, like me and Tim, I would say it's
a record label.
It's a record label / salon. Yeah.
Well, that's a little different than cult. But so it's a little tongue in cheek, but also Derek's a true believer, and maybe to him it is a cult, but to you it's not.
I don't know. If, like when I think of cult, I think of like there's an actual like cult guy at the top when really there isn't. It's
Kevin.
It's a collective. It's a cult-lective, I guess.
Well, one thing that we kind of do as poets and as musicians is we kind of take the idea of the cult and loosely weave it into kind of like the fabric of what we're making.
I get that. Like you look at like a cult, another cult, like a real
figuratively
cult,
drink the punch.
and you think there's aspects of this I really like.
Yeah.
I like how together they are.
Yeah.
I like how on the same page they are. Join us.
Yeah.
Leave the flock.
Yeah, I like it. You're either with us or against us. And if you want to leave, we kill you. You like all those things.
Well, that's a little bit too far. A little bit too far.
We
know what I'm
haven't
saying.
quite killed anyone physically.
We've only killed ourselves.
Emotionally, it's been a real genocide.
It's definitely been an up and down battle.
Okay, so that makes sense with the lyrics in Sunrise, for crying out loud. Every time the sun goes down, you die, and every time it comes back up, you are reborn.
It's very Egyptian of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, I wrote those lyrics like in the middle of the desert, like laying on the ground and watching people around me just like going through different things and like starting over every day and like thinking about everything and how things can change from day to day, you know, like you can feel alive one day and dead the next and then be alive again, you know.
So don't give up, listener.
Yeah, don't give up. Stay strong.
Yeah, every day's
do
a
it
new
for yourself,
chance.
do it for us, do it for everyone else.
You can't know ecstasy unless you know agony.
Yeah.
The two complete each other.
Unless someone
Unless
puts it in
they're
your
the same.
drink or just puts it in your mouth and doesn't tell you.
Sometimes that's chill though.
Yeah, there may be some agony the next day.
Before we move too far away from the Ouija board and the occult, someone referenced crystals. And you guys said that you were really like good on that whole thing, and they kind of gestured towards you, right?
Yeah.
I hear a lot about crystals in 2016.
Yeah.
Tell me how you relate to them and like what they mean to you. I'm legitimately curious because I've never really talked to somebody to whom they are important.
Yeah, totally. Well, the depth of the story, it goes really far down, but
and let me get your name too, so the people who are listening know who's talking.
Yeah, my name's Wayne Mills. I play electric guitar.
Thank you.
I guess the reasoning and everything like that is the specific reason that I am so like into crystals and like the energy that they produce and being around them and stuff like that it's a very long story. But like I guess if I were to boil it down and give you the Reader's Digest condensed version, I went through a couple like mentally traumatic experiences in my life, and I had a couple friends who had already kind of gotten involved in like looking into like the history and like this specific stuff that different crystals do and stuff like that, and just like shot me a couple stones and was just like, here, just put them in your pocket, literally that's all you have to do. And I was like, what could go wrong, right? And so to be specific with you, one of the main ones that they gave me was a citrine quartz, which it's kind of just like a clear stone, but it has like an amber kind of color to it too. And what it does is it's kind of like a tree. It takes like like how a tree takes like carbon dioxide in and it like reproduces oxygen, and it's just kind of like its process. It has no purpose for doing it. It's not getting anything really out of it. It's just kind of just does it. It's kind of the same thing where if you have a certain kind of crystal, like in my specific case, that citrine, it takes kind of anxious, more like negatively developed like energy that you're kind of like brewing within yourself, and it consumes it and kind of reproduces like more of a positive environment for you. So I read into that, and it actually really helped me out a lot because I was going through a whole bunch of loss and stuff like that in my life, and it was one of the things that kind of kept me in tune with myself as a person and with the world around me and how beautiful everything really is in like a really dark time. And so I started just gathering a bunch of them. We have like these theories in our house where like we think that it was haunted before we lived there and stuff like that, and like so we keep them all over the house. I got a bunch of dream catchers and stuff like that too. I really think that works. You know what I mean? If anything, it just helps milk that positive
It
energy.
comes back though sometimes. We can't keep it away forever.
Yeah.
You feel that? You feel it creep back in?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's definitely times where I live in the basement of the house.
And who's talking right now?
This is Derek. I sing and write lyrics and stuff.
And let's get a couple other introductions too, because we just jumped right in. We were so excited.
Oh, my name's Lucas. I play drums and I sing.
And
Tim. I play bass and sing, I guess.
it was kind of like a Simpsons episode or a James Bond movie, like where we entered right in with a storyline and then we kind of peeled back a little bit. And
You kind of Tarantino'd it.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
Exposition. Yeah, now we're in the exposition part.
Yeah,
We
now
can
we're
slow down a bit.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Yeah. Some people will turn it off, but whatever. Fuck those people.
Yeah. Fuck
Anyway, so but I'm glad you brought up haunted houses and things. Tom has he has a promise he's made with himself. He will never sleep in a place that is haunted.
Well, and I've changed my whole attitude about this. I won't because, quite frankly, I don't want anybody. When I'm sleeping, I want to be sleeping. I don't want anybody creeping around me, and that's no offense to a friend of mine that we named Chris years ago, who did used to walk the stage when we would spend the night here and sleep on the stage. You could hear these big footfalls on this stage, and you'd get the feeling that somebody very large was walking over and even standing over and you looking down at you. That was a comfort for me.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, I realized I don't like the thought of if I go to sleep, I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody watching. I don't want anybody creeping around. Not that you creep, Chris. You're not a creeper. I know that.
But when you're open to that energy, it bring people, or like energy knows that and so it wants to be there. So I think
it does. But then there's another thing that I've started, and it's maybe not that cool. I'm wondering why. If we are willing to believe in God, if we're willing to believe in a lot of the iconography moving us through that we've had in our lives, why can't we believe in ghosts? Why shouldn't we believe in these extra energies? But why would you want to stay behind when there may be so much more out there? So I spend a lot of time asking now.
Totally.
I feel you guys. We're all up in the balcony quite a bit when I'm walking up into to my office, and it's really dark and lonely in here a lot of times, and you just feel like it's kind of closing in on you.
Yeah.
My first thought is, well, great, hey guys. But again, I got to ask, why are you hanging out here still? My God, there's this whole incredible universe. There must be something more. Go, take it, fly. Don't be tied to this earth like that. Let's move, let's move, let's move. Because that's what we do here at the Phoenix anyway, with a lot of teenagers and stuff like that. I know that our time here is limited. We're going to be here for a few years, and then it's to move out into the world and see what the heck is out there.
Definitely.
So now I'm kind of encouraging everybody to move on.
Yeah.
Go to the light, move forward, and see what else is out there. Don't be so afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be so locked down. So now, if you're in your basement and you feel like somebody's kind of,
it's just the bumps. It sounds like someone is stomping upstairs through
all of that,
and I can hear it, and I'll go up there. It doesn't ever feel like I'm never afraid in my own house, but you're like, well, I'm the only one here. Our house was built in 1925, so
Yeah.
So when you say our house, does the whole band live together? Or?
Wayne and I live together with like a bunch of our really close friends and our
Those are
fellow like record label homies and stuff.
Yeah.
The Cult.
Best friends. The Cult.
The
We
Cult.
live in the Cult house. It's Kitty Castle.
Kitty Castle is what we call
Kitty
it.
Castle.
He made a leap earlier when he said if you believe in perhaps a presence and you believe that Ouija boards have power and all that, that also suggests a belief in God. Does that jive with you? No, it does not.
No.
Okay.
I mean, on a personal standard, I don't like speaking for myself only. I just believe in like energies and different things out there. I don't think I have any like firm pinpoint on a specific face or name or anything, but I believe in like there's stuff out there, you know.
Energies.
There's energies out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like I don't know. To me, like music is like magic, you know. Like yeah, it's like vibrating things. It's putting ideas in people's heads. It's like changing how they feel. You can, you know, like that. To me, if that's not magic, I don't know what is. You know,
bravo.
like
Let's
that's how I feel about music and just stuff in general.
Yeah, well, it's not real. Like music doesn't have a form. You can't touch it. You can't see it. You can't smell it. You can hear it. So that's like one sense that is like kind of weird. And that's
relative.
Yeah.
And then you can, and then it, you know, it just can trigger all these emotions. It can make you feel cold. It can make you feel happy. It can make you feel sad, and that's magic, I would say.
Oh man!
And I think that comes from like our whole creative place and like why we do what we do is just to like share things with people, like share stories and share feelings, and like be able to just like, you know, someone could not even speak English, but hear a song and like feel like something from it that we are sharing, you know what I mean? Where it's not necessarily a word or even a certain note, but they can just feel like what the song is about through that. And to me, that's just magic. Like,
Oh yeah.
it transcends any language that we have set up right now.
Derek, you released a solo album in the last year or two. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If the Bay Bridge is to be believed, the title track, This Life Now, is a song about the futility of nostalgia, how memories of past happiness are little more than reconstructive narratives that we convince ourselves were reality when in fact they weren't like that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's powerful to think about because
Yeah.
when we are sitting here right now in the present, sometimes we think how great things were 5 years ago, or how we weren't so stressed, or how we weren't so sad, or we weren't this.
Yeah.
But in fact, you were just stressed about other things back then.
Yeah.
Totally.
But you look at the pictures of yourself back then, and you're smiling in every single one.
Yeah.
So in your mind, it's like everything was fine.
And like it's the same thing with like I feel like with like money and stuff. Like I've heard from other people who are like making money from doing music and stuff. Like I'm like, yeah, like I quit my job full time to like go for music and to like do it, and I'm super poor and it sucks and all this stuff. But like my friends who are like making good money and growing up now and like have kids and are successful musicians, they've told me like that's some of the most simple and best times of my life when you didn't have to worry about all those things, where like, you know, you want to get those things in the future and to feel that, but then you don't realize that the simplicity of it and like everything else, you know, is like, I don't know, it just you can overlook it and be caught up in the moment and not realize that looking back on it, it actually was much better. It was much more simple.
I don't know. I
Or
feel
the
like
worst,
I feel like it's kind of just works out like exponentially. Like you, I don't know, maybe you make like a certain like pay grade, or like you have like a certain amount of things. That means you can then take on more responsibility, but then that in turn kind of elevates your stress level a little bit. So I think maybe like that's what it was kind of getting on. It's like,
Yeah.
really, you know, we want to just focus on, you know, making great music and, you know, giving good performances and putting out good records and stuff. You know, ideally, you know, you want to have a wife, kids, you know, children, down the line, but that, you know, is an entirely next level thing of responsibility that you have to be 100% committed to, as well as wanting to be in an successful band that makes good records, that puts on good shows. So I think it's just like
Secondary. It's completely secondary to music.
I don't know if it's secondary. It's like you have to,
I would
like-
agree. It depends on who you and what you
Yeah,
want.
of course.
Going platinum is definitely goal number one. All other happiness is goals 3 and 5.
You're giving it your all. You are
Yeah.
maybe putting off other things you could do, which would allow you to put less energy into music, because you
yeah.
still have the belief and hope that you can accomplish everything that you've always wanted to accomplish.
I mean, like
And some people
full-
lose that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like some people like have kids all of a sudden, and then they're like, oh, well, this is what I have to do right now is take care of another life form. But for me, it's like I'll be writing songs either way, and that's like ultimately how I cope with existence, where I would rather just be able to do that and make that like a way to live, you know?
You mentioned that and anyone can jump in on this one. You mentioned that you create music to deal with the pains of existence.
Yeah.
Are there any that strike you in the current era that you're living in that music is helping you cope with? Because you can look over an artist.
yeah.
an
Well,
artist-
actually, that was the nature of my request tonight.
Okay.
you wrote a song called No Consequence, which was actually...
Full context for the listener. The band brought 3 songs to play for us. They played before the interview here, and Tom had a request.
I'd seen an interview about the band that they had done with SF Weekly, and they discussed their tune No Consequence, which was a tune written about a friend that they had lost. And that touches me deeply because I've been trying. So here's the thing. You came up with the right tune at the right time. I have a friend who was murdered 4 blocks from here.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a tough thing, and it was a life changer for me. The song I wrote shortly after that was a really cool picture of who he was, but it's not a song that I can sing for his daughter one day.
Definitely.
I need to come up with that tune, and I've been racking my brain for the last year working on this, even to the point where I thought I'd maybe reword the original tune that I'd written just so that it would be acceptable.
Okay. Yeah,
but I can't.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, and so I was very interested to hear how you treated that, and it was beautifully done.
Thank you.
And I see that. Are you writing most of the lyrics for this?
Yeah, I write all the lyrics.
Okay, this is Derek that I'm talking with, and you're absolutely writing experientially. It feels like you're talking about a lot of relationships. You're talking a lot of movement in your life, and then you speak about a friend that you've lost. So you're writing in that way, and do you find that's also a catharsis?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I would be a really fucked up person if I couldn't write songs. And like, to me, it's like, before I really wrote music and stuff, I'd like be on like antidepressants and all of that shit. And like, you don't need that. Like, to me, it's like, once I found music, I mean, some people do. Stay true.
You're not saying that nobody needs antidepressants.
Yeah.
But you're saying for you,
Yeah.
you tried it because there was something inside of you that you felt needed fixing.
Yeah.
And music helped you fix that.
Yeah. And at least like get out what I needed to get out and say what I needed to say and share what I needed to. And, you know, like, even if I wasn't sharing it, like just singing it and feeling that, like channeling that energy is cathartic to me. Like, I write a lot of songs one time. You know, I write and play a song at one time only, and I'll like be in my room playing it, and that will be it. You know, like, that's the energy that I was needing to get out or whatever got out through that. And like, you know, that's why I write music, is just to feel that.
The album is pretty much there just to, it's like a grave, you know what I mean? It's there purely to capture that moment and kind of get it out of the syncopation of your own head. You know what I mean? Where you, like, if you were to have, in my own opinion, if you don't mind, if you were to have like this certain issue going on in your head, or like a problem currently happening in your life and stuff like that, and you, or for me, if anything, and I see this a lot through Derek too, if you manifest it and write it down into that album or that song or that EP or whatever, it's no longer on the front line, right in front of your brain, and now you can kind of reflect on it as a growing experience. You know what I mean? Like, you can look back on it as something that has happened, and it's no longer the thing that's going on in your head.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like the page is written, you know, like, it's time to turn it over, and you can go back to it anytime, but like, you're not sitting there like day in and day out, like visualizing it, trying to make it into something. Like, it's already there.
It gives you perspective too.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you can objectively look at, or just like, it's like, oh, was that thing, and that's where I was, and now I'm here, and now I can kind of think of, like, did I make improvements? Was it something? Did I grow? Did I learn? Or
yeah, because sometimes when you're dealing with whatever life has dealt you in terms of mental trauma, you don't really even know why you're so upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe you do know why you're so upset, but you have no idea how to get out of being that upset. And creating art to try to channel that is a good way of, like, feeling around in the darkness of your mind, trying to like find your way out of this dark room that you're in.
I've written songs that was like me subconsciously telling myself things that I didn't even know about situations I was in until like later. And then I listened to it again and I was like, holy shit, that song was about that. And like, that was me telling myself that, where I didn't even know that at the time. It just felt right, you know, where like it was an internal, like it was a warning or something, you know.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, I haven't had this happen too much recently, but it kind of reminds me when you're really upset with someone and talking to them, you're not ready to do that because everything's such a mess. The volume's on like 11. Everything you're feeling and thinking, it's just like you're not well mentally, and you need to resolve the situation. So sometimes what I'll do is like I'll just like write the person a letter, knowing full well I'm not gonna give them the letter. Just
Never
because
give them the letter.
because it helps me.
I've
it
got
helps
the
me.
letter before. You never get it. I got it in the mail once.
Man,
Yeah.
do not
Oh,
email
God.
though.
No.
I got it in the mail on a typewriter.
Yeah. Did you deserve it though?
Maybe.
Yeah, you know,
he grew from it.
If you're listening to this, cheers.
Okay.
Hey, what a moment we just experienced.
Yeah.
That was big. But I will say this: even if that person had not sent you that letter, which we could argue whether they should or they shouldn't have, but it helps whoever wrote it. If it was my letter or their letter, it just helps you sort of like categorize and understand. Like, okay, what am I so mad at this person for?
Did you turn around and write a song after you got the letter?
Probably. I mean,
Well, you've written songs since.
Well,
maybe
there's
not
like
about
there was
them,
like a whole surge of songs associated with that letter that you can listen to online.
I got the impression I probably did.
Yeah.
But to the earlier question, though, what it sounds like this is sort of a buried issue, the letter and all that. This is old stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it still pops up, but
Wilted in Summer.
wilted in summer. Okay, yeah. Have new things taken its place in terms of what trouble you about existence, or is that still kind of what's on the forefront?
I don't know. I mean, like, there's like the constant like conflict of just living in a city like San Francisco. I mean, you're like surrounded by fucking like crazy energy all the time, like whether it's good or bad, and you know, just like experiencing life in general. There's nothing is ever gonna be perfect. I mean, like, I don't know. I think there's always gonna be things to be celebrated or like mourned over, but I think creatively, I've actually been writing a bunch of like happier songs recently, which is going to be fun, upcoming fun for everyone.
Does the material stall out when you're feeling especially miserable, when you're feeling especially happy, or if you're in the middle? Or does it just consistent no matter where you're at on the scale?
Well, I think it's really inconsistent, where sometimes I'll like roll out of bed and feel like I write 3 songs in a day, and then other times it feels like years, even though it's probably like been a week or so, where I'm like, I need to write, I'm freaking out, you know, like I suck, I can't do anything that I want to say all this stuff and I can't say it, where it's like, it's just about tapping into that energy and like channeling it and being open with it, and kind of like, it comes and it goes, and like certain feelings happen certain times. If you like happen to be there in the right place to kind of channel it into a song, then you're lucky, you know?
Okay, so Reservoir just came out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, you had a single that was called Eyes of the Prey. Not immediately before that, but that was a single that you guys released at some point in the band's history.
Yeah, that was like the beginning. That was like the first breath of Owl Paws, was like that demo of that song, recorded like on an M-box on like a shitty computer situation in like a bedroom. And then that kind of was the thing that where I was like, hey, like we should play music together. We should make a band. Kind of like, this is a song, and that's kind of where it started, where that was the first kind of song for the band, I guess.
Has the band's personality stayed the same largely since the founding?
No, I think that we've really like developed into, we've kind of like constructed like what the body of Owl Paws is, and been able to, before it was kind of unknown. It was also just like the beginning stages of like, here's a song, like it's out. There was no like song selection. There was no like thought. We didn't really know what our sound was. It just was a song that kind of like started everything.
That single, according to the Delhi magazine, is mixed with a tinge of loneliness that seems to reflect a bit of the isolating element of modern times. It sounds like you've sort of like created an antidote to that by living in a cult and so on. And also, you know, surrounding yourself with friends that you can be truly yourself in front of, good and bad.
Playing music about
and
it.
playing music about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find modern times still to be lonely, or have you found your way around that?
I mean, any of you guys want to touch on that?
First off, is it possible to be lonely in the house?
Yeah, totally. I think that we're all kind of just alone together.
In the band and also in this world.
In our
Totally.
house.
Yeah, as wide as you want to make that yard. Like seriously, I think that it's no matter if it's modern or if we're talking, you know, thousands of years ago. I feel like if you're in a body experiencing this cosmic universe, it's going to be a little bit lonely and a little bit scary. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little bit hard to deal with. And the more people that you have around you that are kind of in tune with that and are kind of just like, hey, yeah, it sucks. It's really hard to like fall asleep for me too. Or it's like really hard for me to just kind of get a grasp on what like our society's doing and all this stuff like that. It's like, it's more comforting because as definitive as it may be, the more people you have around you that kind of share that common perspective, the more like fictional it looks, you know?
So are you writing any new music right now for future Owl Paws projects?
Yeah. I mean, there's always music being written, like there's a lot of music. We have a lot of new songs that we're working on. We have like 2 new songs recorded. We just shot a music video for one of them like a few days ago actually, and we're going to be releasing it in the next month or so. But yeah, I mean, like songwriting is just life, you know. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and I guess my question was in the current era that we're in, for songs that have yet to be written, if there's anything that's really, you know, been on your mind lately here at the table.
Just I've been feeling like a lot of like intense like I've been writing a lot of like romantic songs in the past probably like few months, and I've never really done that before. I felt like I've been moved by feelings that were good and like felt good and like things I wanted to say that were like nice things, you know, where I've always been inspired by these feelings but never really been able to express them in a way that I felt like true and comfortable with, which I think is part of just like growing up in general.
So you say that because maybe some of your older material has been less coming from good places and maybe trying to channel like negative things,
or like
feeling.
More general, or like, you know, like just being not really being precise about what you're actually trying to say, or like really, you know, like I feel like songwriting to me started as just a feeling, like writing a song to like get a feeling out, where the words were important, but always like sometimes you would write a song and you would just say something that would feel good in the moment and like go with it, but you didn't necessarily always mean something to you. Where like I want every single lyric to like mean something to me, and to make it a point in songwriting to like not stop until it does, and like rewrite it or like do like beat yourself up over it, just to make sure that every single thing you say is like something that you mean and you're 100% like being real about it and sharing something that's important to you.
Not just putting something in because it sounds good.
Yeah, not just like being like saying some like random thing that could mean something to someone and probably actually does mean something to you, like could mean something important, but just like knowing like this means this way to me and this is about something that I really care about, instead of just being like, I like this song because it makes me feel good, you know, like you hear it and you understand it and you understand what the point of it is, and it could be saying anything, but like to me, that's like the first step of being like, that's a good song. Like whether I liked it or didn't, it's like it said something and I understood it, and it like, and it just like, it said something and it was understood. And I feel like that's like principle 1 of like writing a lyrical song.
Communicate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hey, you guys recently got a shout out from our friend in Circus Survive when he played the Warfield. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
We
That's
love
crazy.
them.
You just research. You guys know him personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Circus Survive is a band that actually has played on this stage.
I saw them here.
Yeah.
In like 2006 with Dredge.
Yeah.
It like changed my life. That
Dredge,
as a
yes.
teenager, like
grew up
that
in their
and
hometown.
that band in general, like they have like that's like Anthony in particular is like one of the people that's like that's why I do what I do today, is because of that guy, and like the things that his music has shared with me, and all of their music has like, it's really inspiring, and like it gave me a place to be, you know, it gave me like a place to exist where I could really understand what they were saying and the feelings that they were conveying, and it showed me like a light to live in, you know, where I didn't have that necessarily before.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it
There's a
illuminated,
communication.
right? It illuminated the dark room of your
Definitely,
soul.
and like seeing them, especially like here, like this is a place where I would go. Like I went to my very first like show ever here.
I bring that up just because this is a band that seems like it's gaining momentum. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's felt that way the entire time, but me, from a total outsider, I mean, I've definitely seen the name Owl Paws a lot. And then it's fun to see your full length come out. You obviously to meet this Anthony Green, to have him say something nice. That's a small little note, but to you it means a lot.
No,
you know?
he said things to me that have like straight up made me cry. Like he's like, I don't know.
He's the brand.
Yeah, he's such a homie, and like
and Colin too.
Yeah, and just to have people like that I've like looked up to on my whole life, and like kind of have made it always a point to like sneak backstage or like say hi to them and like tell them that they're awesome, and like, or just try and like communicate with them or like contact them, turn into something throughout my life where like they like, I feel like I'm on like a peer level, like they're like someone like my boss or something that I like want to be them, and they're like helping me, they're like giving that motivation, and that like I don't know, it means like everything.
Band has been around for about 5 years, give or take. Mm-hmm. It's so rare that we just get to like sit down and like document, draw a line in the sand. Here's where we are right now. It's 2016. We've done that tonight. And we've talked a lot about philosophy, and you guys have been very fun to talk to about that.
Thank you.
Let's say 5 years from now, where would you like to see Owl Paws be at?
Just like, honestly, us being able to continue doing what we do. Like, I want to be able to spend like every day with these dudes and like be writing every day and be working on songs, and to be able to share that with people and to sustain from doing that. And honestly, just being able to do that alone is all that I could ever really ask for. And maybe having a pretty sweet like tape recorder at home, and some stuff to be able to do that at home. But honestly, just being able to afford to spend time together to like really write and to work on music is like all I could ever ask for.
Owl Paws is great.
Yes.
And I would encourage anybody who's listening to this right now to stick around, because there's a very, very special performance you guys do in the basement of the Phoenix Theater. And
check that out.
It's really something special. So thank you guys so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And best of luck as you work towards your goals you've previously outlined in the program. And we look forward to discussing how much you've accomplished those in 5 years on this very stage on Onstage with Jim and Tom 2021.
We'll be here. We love the Phoenix.
Cool.
We love you guys.
We love you too.
Yeah. Good.
And everybody else, stick around. Owl Paws is going to play some music in just a minute. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.
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 See ya.
true. You know there's a reason why I had to hurt you, just to know what I want. When everything's a virtue, that's one a loss. Oh, it's lost, lost, lost. It's lost. It's lost, lost, lost. It's lost. And I hope from afar you hear my voice calling out to your heart to bring me back to my place. And I hope from afar you hear my voice calling out to your heart to bring me back to my place. It must be something you didn't say and you won't explain now. It's easier to run away, directionless, lost at sea. Alone, alone is where we must be. And I know I'd given all I could, but you know I give you all I have. And I know I given all I could, but you know I give you all I have. nice to be home, where your mind can be alone. And I'd bet it's nice to feel that someone who knows these roads is behind the wheel. The city lights is where my body resides, where the concrete ends and the light depends on the sunlight to survive. Smoking my first learned how to kill. I was told not to look in the eyes of the prey as you take their life away. This damn place is programmed to erase each face. We're the ones that relieve. We're the ones that deceive. Smoking my lungs. The knots in my tongue. It's not safe to be here. And I can't believe what I hear. I bet it's nice to be home, where your mind can be alone. Light pouring through, no one to blame. Bad news came too soon, nothing to say. What I thought was lost, I actually gained. My memories of you, always a thought away. Is there no consequence with all this love that we have? Why can't we bring you back? There's so much more to be had. Why can't we bring